Hello, my name is Samuel. This week, as we continue in our series looking at God's great purpose, we are looking at 1 and 2 Samuel. For all the information about the whole series, head to goldhill.org/ggp. For this week's material, go to goldhill.org/Samuel. Because my name is Samuel, I have been chosen to share some thoughts about 1 and 2 Samuel. I first read the books of Samuel because my name is Samuel, and I wanted to find out more about my namesake, Samuel. Samuel was the last judge of Israel, but although these two books bear his and my name, they actually tell the story of Israel's first two kings, Saul and David. Samuel anointed both of these men to be king, but as we see in these books, Saul and David are very different men and have very different fates. Saul is a tall, strong, handsome young man who is anointed as king and does many great things for his people, but is seen to lose the favour of God by being disobedient. Saul becomes a very troubled and jealous king and is eventually slain in battle. David is a humble shepherd boy with an unshakable faith in the Lord. When God rejects Saul as king, Samuel anoints David. David becomes a mighty warrior and eventually king of Israel when Saul is killed. David does greater things than Saul before him, but he also is disobedient and does some terrible things as king, not least murder and adultery. But David never loses God's favour. He suffers as a result of his sin, but the Spirit of God remains with him. It is important when we read Samuel to remember that God never wanted Israel to have kings. When the people of Israel asked Samuel to appoint a king to govern them like other nations, the Lord tells Samuel that the people are rejecting their God as their king. God tells Samuel to warn the Israelites that if they choose a king, then they will eventually come to regret their decision and cry out to God because of the oppressive way they are being ruled. But God will not answer their cry. But the people insist and sow the seeds of their own downfall. Despite this folly, God has a plan to make it work for our good. David begins the royal line that Jesus descends from, and Jesus is the true king. He is the king that the people have been waiting for. His rule is good and his reign is without end. Jesus is the king that has come to rule in the kingdom of God. The books of 1 and 2 Samuel encourage us to ask questions of ourselves. Will we accept God's rule, allowing Jesus to take his place as our king? Or will we want different leadership? Join us on Sunday, in person or online, as we examine the true heart of kingship.